Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tamha Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vanshashibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. Sarvopaplavarahitaha Prajnanaganaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Vedantartha vibhasakaya gurave Shantaya sannyasine Nanavadi nagendra sanghapavaye Yogindra vandyaya cha Mohadvanta divakaraya Bhagavatpada abhidham Vibhrate Tasmai Bhashakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. We are on verse number 24 of the second chapter. Let us all chant this verse and look at its meaning. Achchhedyo ऽyमदाह्यो akledyo śhoṣhya eva ca nityaḥ sarva-gataḥ sthāṇur achalo sanātanaḥ achchhedyo achchhedyo ऽयमदाह्यो akledyo śhoṣhya eva ca nityaḥ sarva-gataḥ sthāṇur achalo sanātanaḥ. The self cannot be slain, cannot be cleaved. Achchhedyo, adāhyo, āyamātma, adāhyo. Dāhya means something that is capable of getting burnt, and therefore adāhyo means that which cannot be burnt. So Atma, this Atma cannot be burnt. Akledyo, akledyo means something that can be made wet by the water, which means something which can be drowned, disintegrated by the water. So this Atma cannot be even drowned or destroyed by water through its process of moistening things. Cannot be akledyo, śhoṣhya, cannot be dried by the wind. It is and nityaḥ. Nitya means that which is changeless, forever, changeless. And so sarva-gataḥ is all pervading. Sarva-gataḥ, all pervading. And so is achalo, sthāṇur. Sthāṇur means something that is stable, something that is stable. And so is achalo, immovable, is immovable. And āyamad, sanātanaḥ, is eternal. Now, how many words have you found that go in describing the nature of this self? Achchhedyo, one. Then adāhyo, akledyo, śhoṣhya, nityaḥ, sarva-gataḥ, sthāṇur, achalo, sanātanaḥ. So you have found 9 words over here that go to say āyamad is all is now indicated by all these words. Every word has got the function of denying, of negating a misconception that already exists, that this I, this self, is something which is subject to destruction through weapons. And therefore, in order to remove this misconception, now there is the Atma is said as achchhedyo. The misconception is that is destruction through the fire, is subject to destruction through fire. And therefore, in order to remove that misconception, Bhagavan employs the word adāhyo, cannot be burnt. Then we find that because of being exposed to water, that things which are put together will eventually disintegrate, and this disintegration is destruction of that object. So here he says, is akledyo, is incapable of getting destroyed through the agency of water. Akledyo, śhoṣhya. So wind, exposing the wind also can destroy an object by drying it out. And therefore, śhoṣhya, even this wind, etc., earth, water, fire, wind, all these panchamahabhutas, these great elements which are responsible for their mutual destruction, are incapable of destroying, these 4 mahabhutas rather, are incapable of destroying the self. Okay? They cannot happen. And therefore this self is nityaḥ. Nitya means that which is, now over here that word nitya we'll have to look at, will mean something that is changeless, that which does not undergo any change, any kind of change, any transformation, because every transformation means its destruction of its earlier phase. So nityaḥ, sarva-gataḥ, all pervading, is all pervading, sarva-gataḥ. And then, because the misconception that we have is that I am limited to this just small space, I occupy a small space. So we have that the word now sarva-gataḥ is meant to say it is not that you occupy small space or you are in the space, but to say that sarva-gataḥ, the space is in this Atma. Okay? Is there in this Atma. So the space also exists in the self. Presently, when the word I is spoken, what is the immediate meaning that comes to one's understanding about I is that I am a man, I am a woman, I am so and such a person, thus limited to time, limited by space. And so now to remove that misconception of limitation in time, nitya, etc., was said. To remove the misconception about the limitation imposed by this space, sarva-gataḥ is said. And then achalo. Therefore, now this is the nature of the self. Then the question may arise, as if I am sarva-gataḥ, when I am all pervasive, I am all pervading, why do I don't experience myself as all pervading, but I experience myself as small, little, limited, occupying just this much space, as much space as this body occupies? Why do I find this? And so though you may naturally find this is what that I am a limited entity, yet the knowledge that Atma is all pervasive is also there on one hand, and on the other hand you have another set of knowledge which says I am limited in space. So now, and they are two opposites. They are two opposites. So now it is said, now this knowledge that Atma is all pervasive, not limited by space, is a knowledge that has arrived through the functioning of pramana, shabda pramana. But this knowledge that I am limited is not a result of any pramana. It is avidya siddha. Something like that is, though natural, but ignorance is natural. Nobody creates ignorance. Remember this. Just because something is natural, something comes to you without anybody teaching, does not mean it has to be right. Because avidya is ignorance, is natural. Nobody created ignorance. Your teachers did not create ignorance. The politicians did not create ignorance. Your friends and relatives did not create ignorance. Your parents did not create ignorance. Then who? Because ignorance cannot be created. Ignorance is something that is swabhavikam, is natural, is swabhavikam. And therefore, remember this claim that people always make, something it is right because it is natural. No, sir. Something is right not because it is natural. Something will be deemed as right only because it has been established through pramana. Something will be right because it is established through the pramana. And now there is, in order to know what is Brahman, we have only one pramana, and that is the Shabda pramana. That pramana which shows Brahman now says, what is this Brahman? This Atma is Brahman, is what is shown to us by that Shabda pramana. So this is, the Atma is Brahman. This knowledge has arrived through the pramana vyapara, through the functioning of the pramana. Now comes the question, then if this is true, then why do I don't experience myself as all pervading? The reason is because there is this tadatmya, deha tadatmya. There is this identification with the limitation, which is so strong that it is not allowing the knowledge to express itself. Okay, to express, and that is the reason why in one of the earlier texts that we have done, what was said, that in order for Jivan Mukti, what will we require? three means. What were those? Huh? 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 Three means. Tattvajnanam, vasanakshaya, and manonasha. These are the three means. And therefore, through that manonasha, which means through the samadhi abhyasa, what is achieved? Through the samadhi abhyasa, the tadatmya, this identification which takes place with the body-mind complex is what? How? Is subdued. Is subdued. And thus, ha aham brahmaiti, that knowledge remains shining. So now, nityatva, nityaḥ. So nitya means changeless. Sarva-gataḥ, all pervasive. Then sthāṇur. Sthāṇur means stable. Huh? Because where will this Atma go? Where will it go? Will Atma, in order for Atma to go from one point to another point, absence of Atma is required, and that absence would mean space. Okay? That absence would mean space. But where? How can this Atma move? Because is all pervasive. Wherever I go, I'm already there. So there is nothing like movement, going, and so all pervasive, stable. And because it's stable, all pervasive, sthāṇur is what? Immovable. Is achalo. Now this is exactly the reason why, if you remember, I had said that the earlier shloka, which said that Atma changes, that the bodies are changed by the Atma, like a person changes the worn out clothes. Now over there, generally this verse is explained by various people as saying that in order for Atma to change the bodies, the Atma moves. The Atma goes from one place to another place. Maybe if not on this planet, some other planet, somewhere else. If not in the same, because from this body, at least there is a movement into another body. So they say that there is movement, the Atma moves. But they have a problem of self-contradiction when they do this. Why is there this self-contradiction? Because immediately in the next verse, Shri Krishna Bhagavan is going to say, this Atma, I am this one. I am means this one. Which one? The one about whom we have spoken earlier. The one about whom we spoke as the one who is changeless and the bodies are changing. That very Atma is how? Immovable. Now they have a problem how to explain this. Because they already have said Atma is something that goes about from one place to another place, from one body to another body, in search in the sense, led by the karma phalas. Now, what is janma, punarjanma, etc.? That is a different issue. But presently, the issue over here is to understand that this I am Atma. So, by very use of that pronoun, this one, this, which means we are referring to the same one about whom something was said earlier. The same one. So there is no change of topic, or the subject, that subject about whom we are discussing has not changed. Same very Atma. So not that we are talking about a different, now we are, earlier it was about Atma, now somebody says we are talking about Paramatma. No. I am means this one. Otherwise, how is it possible to use a pronoun in this place? As I have always explained, even in some of the earlier places, when someone says Ram is Dashratha's son, and Ram is Dashratha's son, he goes to forest. So he is a pronoun used in this second sentence. Now, when this he, that pronoun comes in the next sentence, preceded by a sentence which spoke about Ram, then what is your natural understanding about the pronoun he in the second sentence? That he means Ram. Ram is Dashratha's son. He goes to forest. What is that he? That he means Ram. That he does not mean anything else. There is no change of topic. Exactly in the earlier verse, in the earlier sentence, it is Atma. Now over here, that Atma, the bodies are changing, Atma is changeless. The avikāritvam was told. Now in this sentence, it is said that Atma is immovable, sthāṇur and sthiraha, achalaha. This is said. Now, how will this fellow who already has committed the mistake of saying Atma goes about from, like a wanderer, like a vagabond in search of a shelter, Rain Basera, in search of a shelter for some time to spend one night, Rain Basera. Next morning he will go away. How long will you be there? Till this night, till the dawn. And so in the earlier days, in some places, even in India today, you have these shelters for the travelers. They are called as Rain Basera, which means shelter only for one night. Generally, in the earlier olden India, it was all free for travelers. People would come, stay, and then leave for the next destination. Only one night. Like that, they say that Atma is a traveler, only for one janma, only for as long as just for this small little time. The Atma is here in this body, sheltered, and then next day it goes away into another shelter, another place. So now, according to them, Atma is just a vagabond, a homeless vagabond, just spending his nights in different shelters. And then when they arrive in this shloka, they have a problem, because it is said Atma does not move. No, they don't know how to go about it. And so somehow they goof it up. And then they bring some sort of philosophy. Any which ways. Sthiratvat. Okay, now immovable. Sanātanaḥ means eternal. Now let us look at this verse, its meaning a little more in detail through Bhagavan Bhashyakara's commentary. Yasmad anyonya nasha hetu bhutani asyadini atmanam nashayitum notsahante tasmat nityaḥ. Now, these elements, wind and fire and water and the earth, they become agents of mutual destruction. Anyonya nasha hetu bhutani. What are they? They are agents of mutual destruction. The water can destroy the fire can destroy the water, the wind can destroy the earth can stop the wind, so on and so forth. So, anyonya shahetu bhutani, amongst which now is asyadini, including the weapons. Okay, including the weapons. Asyadini. Asyadini means what? Asyadini means what? Huh? That. Asi adini. Asi. Asi means what? Huh? Now I don't know if I should feel amused or I should feel discouraged. Anuj is telling me Asi over here means the Asi of Tattvamasi. Now, I really don't know what to say. Asi over here means the talwar, the sword. Asyadini. The Adi over here means Asi means sword. Adi means etc. Beginning from sword, etc. Furthermore, now into that etc. you can even accommodate cannons, tanks, modern weapons, everything. Weapons which can be released only by the power of mantra. All these things, every kind of weapon. But what do we understand? That this Atma cannot be destroyed by weapons. Nashe notsahante tasmad, and therefore, because there is no agent of Atma's destruction, Atma cannot be destroyed through any of these agents which bring about destruction to everything else. Bring about destruction to everything else. This Atma is nityaḥ. How is the Atma? Nityaḥ. Now, nitya means something which is always there. Nitya means always there. Its presence, always there, can be said in terms of in time, always there. In terms of space, always there. In terms of objects, always there. Okay, so nityaḥ. Nitya word can be now, it allows you to understand Atma being nitya in time, in space, with regards to object. So these are the only three parameters against which something can be called as limited: time, space, and object. And these three parameters are not applicable to Atma. And therefore, this Atma is nityaḥ. Because Atma is said to be nitya, naturally we understand now is sarva-gataḥ, all pervasive. There is an absence of Atma is nowhere, and therefore wherever you go, Atma is already there. Wherever you go, Atma is already there. atyatishthad dashangulam. Ahead of you, you may say that this is the limit. Atma will finish after this little space. And by the time you reach that space, that point where you thought Atma should end, Atma has already steps ahead of you, is already there and also ahead. And therefore, in Purusha Sukta, the Veda says, how is this Atma? Atyatishthad dashangulam. Always there, dashangula. Is sarva-gataḥ. Further, sarva-gatatvat sthāṇur. Because this Atma is sarva-gata, is all pervasive. All pervasive means already there, is already there. And therefore, there is no need for Atma to go anywhere in order to reach that point. So, sarva-gatatvat, because Atma is all pervasive, how is Atma? Sthāṇur, stable. Sthāṇur, okay, is stable. Sthāṇuriva sthiraha. Bhagavan Bhashyaka writes that sthāṇu means a solid stump of a tree which the roots of which have gone deep down, but how that stump remains in that place. Like that immovable sthiraha, and because is stable is achalaha. Achala means immovable. So now you will see that beginning with this nityaḥ, because this Atma is indestructible, this Atma is nityaḥ, is always there. Because this Atma is always there, the Atma is said to be all pervasive. Because this Atma is all pervasive, this Atma is stable. Because this Atma is stable, this Atma is immovable. And because this Atma is now immovable, we say is eternal, timeless, eternal, sanātanaḥ, chirantanaḥ. So Sanātana means eternal. Na karanāt kutaśchid nishpannaḥ. It means Atma has not arrived through any cause. So there is no cause, which means is unborn, uncreated. He is always there. The rest of the world, no matter how small, how big, how important, how significant, everything has got a birth, a beginning. But that which does not have beginning is Atma. So also ignorance between Atma and ignorance. This is it, that Atma is beginningless and also endless. But ignorance is beginningless, but is not endless, because ignorance ends. And therefore, this is the difference. Ignorance ends. Atma is anadi and ananta, but ignorance is anadi, but not ananta. So ignorance is santa, along with and its end, it can finish. Okay, anadyanantaha, this Atma. Okay, now Purvardham uttarardhe hetutvena yojayati. Now, if you have understood that, you have seen that every verse has got these two parts, the first half, the second half. Here the teacher says that the first half, which is achchhedyo ऽyamad akledyo śhoṣhya. Śhoṣhya means that you can see an avagraha mark over there, khandakar, something like an English S, Roman S. So that is a sign to show that the the sound is there, but presently it is present, but it remains hidden, silent, like how you have silent pronunciation, silent vowels and consonants in English spellings. Like that, this is silent. Śhoṣhya. So that word is actually what? śhoṣhya. So also over here in other places also, achchhedyo. Now you are going to wonder which yama is this. This is not yama. This is achchhedyo, achchhedyah, ayam. What is that word? Achchhedyah, ayam. Okay. Now because it is achchhedyah, ayam, the has, because of a grammar rule, has become silent over there and need not be pronounced, has not to be pronounced. So if it is to be spoken together, so achchhedyo adāhyo ayam akledyo śhoṣhya evacha, like that. Got it? So this portion of the verse, which is the first half, is seen as the cause for the later half. Purvardham uttararthe hetutvena yojayati. Okay, that is it. So also in the second half, beginning with nityaḥ, going up to sanātanaḥ, the word which is earlier becomes not the word, but that what is meant by the word nityaḥ, because Atma is nitya, Atma is sarva-gataḥ. Because Atma is sarva-gataḥ, Atma is sthāṇur. Because Atma is sthāṇur, Atma is achalo. Because Atma is achalo, Atma is sanātanaḥ. Got that? Like that. So, nityatvādīnām anyonya hetu bhavam. So now, what is the hetu? Nitya is the hetu. What is the hetu mat? Sarva-gataḥ. So like that, this is how it goes. This is the arrangement of the shloka. Shloka in the sense, this is how the teacher is leading you to understand, see the nature of Atma, of the self. Okay. Nityatvādīnām anyonya hetu bhavam. Okay, now. Na tasya kasyachit janita na chādhipaha iti shravanād ayam niravayavattvena kutaśchit kāranād utpanno na bhavati iti sanātanaḥ. This Atma is said as to be sanātana, eternal, timeless. Hey, why are you saying this Atma is eternal like this? Because the Shruti has said, there is a Shruti. Now this Vedavakya is there. Na tasya kasyachit janita. This part is there for us. Na tasya kasyachit janita na chādhipaha. There is no cause Janita means a father. Okay. But father means a cause. There is no cause for this Atma, nor is there anything that is the overlord of this Atma. No father, no overlord. It means what? There is nothing which can be called as the cause of this Atma. There is nothing which can be said as to rule Atma. So Atma is ever free, not subdued, not ruled by anything. This is what is the nature of the self. Ever free and without any cause. So without any cause, it is Shravanat. Now this is what is heard from the Veda about Atma. Niravayavattvena. And why no? Because this Atma is partless. Niravayava is partless. But if something is to be with parts, which means two parts now have to be put together, at least the chromosomes from the mother and father have to come together in order to create the body. And so this body is also basically, two things put together. There is this. It is a joint, an assembly. It is a joint. So if this joint gets disjointed, like the knockoff furniture, if it is dismantled, it will no longer a table, just something that can be folded and kept into a box. Like that. What is that? Natasya kaschid janita nachadipaha iti shravanat ayam niravayavattvena kutaschit karanat utpanno na bhavati. Is not born, is not created through any cause. So there is no cause, and therefore this Atma is not an effect of anything. Is not created, and not created means something will be created in time, is not created in time. And so is timeless. So that it is what is, this is the meaning when it is said this Atma is eternal, timeless. It means is anutpannaha. Why anutpannaha? Niravayavatvan. Like that. Janmadi vikara rahitaha tataha eva nityaḥ. Because this Atma is free from all the modifications. Now you know what are the modifications. We have already seen there are the 6 modifications. Which are those modifications? Vikaras. Areva. Asti Jayate. Anush can wake up from sleep and answer correctly. I'm so proud. Asti Jayate Vardhate Viparinamate Apakshiyate. Areva. Vinashyati. Looks like he's going to be liberated in this very life. He can wake up from sleep also and answer. He said, Janmadi vikara rahitaha tataha eva nityaḥ. Therefore is nitya. Nityatvat eva sarva-gataḥ. Now look at that, how he is leading you to understand the depth of the word. Nityatvat, because this Atma is nitya, we are saying it is possible to say Atma is all pervasive. What has allowed you to say Atma is all pervasive? Because Atma is nitya, we can say Atma is all pervasive. The question is, how saying Atma is nitya has allowed you to say Atma is all pervasive? Saying Atma is nitya is one issue. Then Atma is all pervasive is another issue. But why are you linking them together? Because nitya means always there. Present, there is no absence. So presence and absence can be in terms of time, in terms of space, and in terms of object. So absence is of these four kinds of absences are recognized by our systems. What are those four absences, which means abhava? Abhava. Okay. Abhava, you have known this word abhava. Absence. What? One is called as pragabhava, the prior absence. Like there is absence of the pot before it is created. So there is a prior absence. Then after the pot is created, now the prior absence is not there, because it is now created. Now the pot is broken, and again there is absence of the pot. But is this absence of the pot the prior absence of the pot? No. Then what kind of absence is this? It is posterior absence. What kind of absence is it? Posterior absence. This posterior absence is called as what? Dvamsa. Technically is called as dvamsa. So pragabhava, and now you have pradvamsa bhava. Pradvamsa is itself is a bhava. Dvamsa. Then you can say that the pot is here and not there. There is the cloth there, but pot is not there, cloth is there, and therefore you can say the pot is not there. And the cloth is there, cloth is not here. Over here there is pot, over there is cloth. So you can say there is absence of pot there, and there is absence of cloth here. So this absence is called as anyonya bhav. So this is anyonya bhav with reference to the object, and with reference to the space you will have atyanta bhava. So first two absences are in reference to the time, then anyonya bhava is in reference to the object, and atyanta bhava is in reference to the space. What do you mean by atyanta bhava? Now you see the pot is here. There is a pot. Okay. This is pot here. And then, so you can say the pot is present over here, but pot is absent over there. Here, the pot is present, so it is in the same frame of time. So now there is, this absence is in the same frame of time. So the earlier two absences that we have seen is in different frame of times. Okay. Now this absence is in the same frame of time, is here but is not there. So that is that absence. When we are saying Atma is always present, which means none of these absences are applicable to Atma. Which all absences? the prior absence, the posterior absence, the anyonya bhava, the mutual absence, and atyanta bhava, the absence with regards to space. And therefore, by saying Atma is always there, Atma is nitya, it has allowed us to understand that Atma does not have atyanta bhava. Atyanta bhava cannot be associated with Atma. That atyanta bhava means absence with regards to space. When can you say? So when Atma is everywhere, and therefore by saying nitya, we can now say Atma is sarva-gataḥ, all pervasive. So what has allowed you to say Atma is all pervasive? Because Atma is always there, has given you this permission, allowed you to say Atma is always is all pervasive. Okay. Now he says, ha, sarva-gataḥ. Now Shankarananda ji in his commentary says that sarva-gata means paripurnaha, is full, is complete. Okay, is complete. That so even that word allows you to understand that, that word leads your understanding up to this point to understand that Atma is paripurnaha, totally complete, is absolutely complete. Okay, paripurnaha. Okay, like that. Nityatve. Ha. Ha. Nityatve sarvagatatvepi atmanah kriyashaktyashrayatvam astu iti na shankaniyam nityatvadi dharmavati akashe tad adarshanat. Now somebody is going to come up with a doubt, and he is saying that let Atma be nitya, let Atma be sarvagata, let Atma be timeless, let Atma be always present, let Atma be all pervasive. But why would you say that Atma is avikari, is free from modifications, is free of any change, any transformation? Because even if Atma is nitya and what do they say, sarvagata, Atma still can become the ashraya, the support for kriya shakti, for the capacity to change. If there is capacity to change, Atma will not be changeless. So if Atma is nitya, always there, Atma can be all pervasive, yet Atma can become the very support on which the kriya shakti, the capacity to change, to change can rest, is there. Kriya is there, movement is there. Kriya shakti ashrayatvam astu. The teacher says, iti na shankaniyam. This cannot be a valid doubt. Why? Nityatvadi dharmavati. Because have you seen something that you already recognize as nitya and is subject to change, subject to movement? Have you seen? So these Nayayikas, the system of Nayayikas, according to them, Akasha, the space, is nitya. They admit space is nitya. In their, this is one of their postulates, that space, Akasha, is nitya. Our question is, since you have said Akasha is nitya, is your Akasha or space capable of moving, capable of changing? No. And therefore, even you, who has recognized Akasha, the space, as nitya, you have denied the presence of any kriya, any change, any movement of the space. Movement in the space is there, but of any other object. But space does not move. Space does not move. So Kriya Shakti is not there. So Akasha is not the ashraya of Kriya Shakti, Nityatvad. Then how can you over here change the rule and make Atma, which is Nitya, as the ashraya of Kriya Shakti, which is not acceptable to you in your own postulate too? And therefore, Nityatvadi Dharmavati Akashe Tad Adarshanath, because it is not seen anywhere. Therefore, you cannot even have an inference drawn that Atma is also the Kriya Shakti Ashraya, though Atma is Nitya and sarva-gataḥ. Such kind of a thing is not possible. Is not possible to say. Okay. I am. Now, why is this Bhagavan Shri Krishna using the word this Atma, this, I am, something? When you are going to use the word this, it means that object which you are referring to is immediate, is not a remote object, is not far away, is not at distance, it is not distant. So it is immediate. And ayamiti aparokshena nirdeshaha. So now over here, by saying this, which means it is Atma is directly known, and directly known means vidvat pratyaksha vishayatva jñāpanārtham. This Atma is known as the very being, as their own self. By whom? By the enlightened ones. So that is vishayatva jñāpanārtham. So it is not something that is to be believed in. It is something that is known and is immediately known, not remotely. Well, I have inferred, or it only remains as your belief. It is immediately known. Vidvat pratyaksha vishayatva jñāpanārtham. That word I am, again and again, Bhagavan Shri Krishna using it, has got this implication. Now, some more things are still hidden in this shloka, and we have to see that before we proceed to the next one. Let us meet for that job in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashagato Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmiti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Thank you, friends. Thank you very much.
Oh,